Big man, shoot YouTube videos.
Hey guys, welcome back to the channel, Motivation and Box Trucking. And today it is let me sit still. I'm new at this. Now, so today is a little bit different because I'm here all by my lonesome. As you know, if you've been, following our channel for a while, it has been a very eventful past couple of months. And exhausted does not begin to explain how we feel. So Cruz is getting some rest, and the information needed to still be put out for the people. So here I am. Please put in the comment section whether or not I did a good job. Don't be too mean. But I did want to give you all the information that has been passed on to me regarding Amazon Relay introducing short-term contracts for box trucks. Is this a wonderful opportunity, or is this just another curveball that they want to throw us before peak season? Let's dig a little bit deeper and see what this is all about, right? So if you're new to the channel, please don't forget to subscribe. If you like the content, please like, share, and also tell the world about motivation and box trucking so that everyone can be in this Amazon game running it correctly, so that we can make sure that we are all on the same accord. Because as a unified carrier network, we could definitely make some waves and changes in what Amazon does to us, right? If we are aware of what's going on, then we can make sure that it is being done to our benefit, okay? So without any further ado, we're gonna get into what does this short-term contract mean, right? So Amazon originally for box trucks had pretty much two ways that you could be a carrier partner. The first way is the traditional load board. The load board, pretty much on a daily basis, you can book a load. If you like where it's going, you like the payout, click book, like what you see, book it, run it. Straightforward, right? Now that gives you the opportunity to book usually out a week if you know when to look for the loads and what time they post all the loads. Then you can pretty much book yourself out for a week. There are opportunities to get some really good rates if you know when to look for ad hocs, when you know when to look for certain things on peak season. Then it can be very rewarding. However, it is inconsistent. I will not lie and say that it is anything but a mental gymnastics game that you have to play and be mentally prepared for in order to be successful with running loads strictly off the load board. You have to know how to route plan, and you have to understand how Amazon works in order for that to really be a way to maximize on your profit and revenue for your business. Some people do not like the inconsistency of the load board. There are some downsides and some cons to running loads off the load board, such as deadheading back home from your last stop. So those are some complaints that a lot of people may have shared when running just the load board, right? And the second option that Amazon utilizes for box truck carriers was dedicated lanes with a long-term contract. So with this, you would have the option to dedicate a certain capacity of your company's fleet. Originally, they were asking for you to have at least 3 trucks, but eventually they kind of dropped that down to if you have a truck at all, then you could possibly do a dedicated lane with them. With the dedicated lane, it was run off of blocks. You would have 5 days of 13 hours or 7 days of 8 hours shifts of blocks that you're saying that you have a capacity for Amazon, and they would give you a load. It is, I want to say, like a 25 or 26 week contract. So it's really good to have consistent pay, especially if you have employees and things like that, so that you're not just kind of willy-nilly going on the load board and hoping to find something that you can run or your employee can run. That dedicated lane, even though it was long-term, was good for people who had employees, because it is better to have some blocks in a schedule that you can set for them with a pay that you can kind of budget out for them, knowing all of the information up front, than to try to grab stuff off the load board. Say you don't get anything on a postal truck for 2 or 3 days, or you see a load on the load board but it's 30 minutes out and your driver is an hour away. There's some Some downsides to both options, because as a dedicated lane with that long-term contract, it was difficult for people who are just single owner operators, with maybe one or two trucks, and like for me and my husband, it's just the two of us. If one of us gets sick, more than likely the other one is sick. We get in an accident, both of us were in the car. So if we had a dedicated contract for 25 weeks out, and something like that occurred, we run the risk, because we don't have backup drivers, of losing that contract and not ever having that opportunity again, because they're pretty strict on if you are unable to fulfill that contract, whether or not you'll be able to do it again, in theory. So with that being said, I feel like this new short-term contract introduction is a good middle ground, for definitely smaller fleets, single owner operators, but also gives you a little bit more flexibility instead of dedicating your company's entire capacity to Amazon only for 25 weeks. Larger fleets, I understand that you have plenty of drivers, you have plenty of trucks. If issues pop up, you have the flexibility to get around that and work with that and not lose that opportunity. But a week at a time, 2 weeks at a time is great. And this is something that they always will actually offer to rigs, but for some reason it was not offered to box trucks until now. So I was able to sit in on a call and get some more information about this. So I'm going to pass that information on to you all. So hopefully, if this is something that sounds like it is going to be beneficial to the way that you run your company and the way that you do business, then if you haven't heard anything, if you haven't received any communication from Amazon already about it, reach out to your middle mile manager and see if they can get you the information so that you can actually participate in this program. So first things first, I'm going to talk about what the short-term contract entails, the options that they have, and then how to gain access to see these actual loads, right? So first things first, this is not available everywhere yet. There's only specific domiciles and cities that this is available in. I'll put this up on the screen so that you can see. I got an email listing the cities that it's available in currently, but they are rolling this out to expand across all of the facilities and domiciles soon. Right? So the good thing about this is that if you don't see the domicile that you're currently in, you can book a contract in a different domicile. So say if you see something that, if you're in Virginia, but you see something out in California, you can book that contract as long as you can get out there and fulfill it, right? They're not restricting you to only your specific domicile. So that gives people who like to go over the road, some good options. So if you know that you're going to have a load out to somewhere, then you could possibly get a week of work with Amazon while you are in whatever city that they have some short-term contracts in. So I think that is actually a really good option for box trucks to have, right? The next thing is that the domicile, where currently when you're looking at the load board, domicile means that pretty much that region. But if you pick like Richmond, it's usually you have like a home domicile. So like we have Rick 5, that's my home domicile. But when you're doing the contract, the short-term contract, domicile means city or region. So you might pick RIC as your domicile, which means Richmond and surrounding facilities. So if they have an option for, let's see, the Richmond area, you might be pulling from Chester, you might be pulling from Petersburg, whatever other facilities that they have, loads coming from. To me, the only real downside to something like submitting your information for a block, it really does not allow you to navigate where you're going to go and put in those filters of how many miles you want to travel. They might have you going out of state, within a certain radius, but you cannot specify, what those filters on the load board and the postal truck allow you to specify. So you might be going 250 miles out. You might be going to a whole nother state and then having to come back. The good thing though is that they do pay for round trip. Whatever the rate is, it is paying you to come back to the facility. You do not have to come back to the facility, but they are compensating you for a round trip. So, once your driver or you are completed with the load, the last drop off, you can go home or go back to wherever you park your trucks and everything. However, you are going to be compensated as if you came back to that original facility. So that is a good thing. For those who complain about they head back home, that eliminates that. Now looking at some of these, they do have a few that are on their Amazon, their relay.amazon.com website already under contracts. You do have to complete a training in order for you to have access to the contracts, the short-term contracts. So it's available in the support center. I'll show you exactly which training it is on the screen right here, so that you know how to access that. Now, once you complete the training, it's about 15 minutes, and it does have a quiz at the end that you can retake. But once you complete all of that, once you click on contracts again, back on the in that menu side of the load board website, then you will see 26-foot options for the short-term contracts. Like I said, it's not at every domicile yet, but they do have some that are listed up there. From what I've seen, I don't like those rates. I can make more money just pulling off the load board because I've mastered that. But it is good for those who have employees, and or even if you're new and you're a single owner operator and you want to just get an understanding of what Amazon is, then by all means book a contract. I don't think that this is necessarily a win for all box truck carriers. It's not something that's going to completely eliminate the inconsistencies with Amazon, but it is a good middle ground between load board inconsistencies and a long-term commitment to a dedicated lane. You can let me know what you think in the comments section. Tell me if this is something that you would actually want to do, what you want to try out with your company, or is this not worth it? Like I said, Amazon loves to change things up, especially around peak season. So maybe they're just trying to cut out having to pay such high rates if they know that people are coming in and getting paid a certain amount from the get-go. Then that eliminates what they put on the load board. So then that, bottom line is the name of the game for every company. So we're not going to act like we don't understand what is going on, but can you benefit from this? Let me know in the comment section. Also, let me know how I did without Cruz. Did I meet your expectations, or do you need his entertainment back? I don't know, but I hope that information was helpful. And until next time, thank you for watching. See you later.